Hi, Daniel Daly here. The St. George debit card. Now, there's one of them. There we go. St. George Visa debit card. I put a piece of paper over it so you can't see my numbers. Obviously, I don't want to share those details on a video. But there's the rest of a dragon there, and it's got the magnetic sort of the pay wave little thing there, and got that hologram identifier there, and there's the magnetic strip. So it's got my name on it, of course. And, it comes with a 16-digit number and an expiry date. The standard credit cards and debit cards. This is a debit card. This is a Visa debit card, and it comes with operates through St. George Bank, which is now part of the Westpac Bank Corporation, and it comes with a 16-digit number, the debit card, and credit cards also, usually 16 digits, I think, and an expiry date. And there's a code on the back of these sorts of things as well, which they sometimes ask for, but not always. A number code on the back as well. And often you'll need a signature for still signing things. With sometimes these days with PayWave, with these transactions, you just run it over a little PayWave machine, and this sort of thing interacts with it, and it just processes it instantly. In Australia, generally, you can use PayWave up to amounts of, I think, $100, but after that, you have to process it and type in a personal identification number, your PIN number, and sometimes you have to sign and things like that. And of course, you can use a debit card like a credit card. It just through those sorts of systems, online transaction systems, and store transaction systems, and you can give credit card numbers over the phone when you want to buy a pizza or whatever you want to buy from an online transaction over the phone, and the banking system processes the card, and usually does it very quickly, within a few seconds. And if you've got the funds in a debit card, because debit cards only spend the actual money that you have in your account, in your bank account or your building society account, your financial institution account. Whereas a credit card, they extend you credit, they loan you money, which you have to pay back at interest. But with a debit card, you can only spend the money that you actually have saved in your account, the money that you've actually got in your account. And I only use debit cards these days. I used to use credit cards, but now I only use debit cards. And you can get, of course, this is also an ATM card, an automatic teller machine card, and you can put that into an ATM, enter your code, your personal identification number, and withdraw money out of it from your bank account. So this is a St. George ATM card, as well as a St. George Visa debit card. Visa runs with most banks, I would imagine, as do the other major debit credit card system is MasterCard. There's also American Express, and there's others. But Visa, I think, is probably the world's biggest, and they run for a lot of banking institutions. But they also run with St. George, and I've used debit cards for a number of years now. Actually, I've had debit cards. But yes, so you use it on PayWave machines and credit card processing machines where you just swipe the card, and sometimes I can just type in the number. If the magnetic strip is faulty or something, I think they can still type in the number on a lot of machines. And your signature is put on the back on that white strip, and I haven't signed this one, because just these days, the way I use PayWave and just the ATM, I don't normally sign for anything anymore. But I sign that whenever I want, and they check the signature. But yeah, the debit card, it's debit cards are used pretty much internationally. Credit cards and debit cards are used pretty much internationally. And the size of this sort of plastic card is a universal standard. There might be other sizes of different cards here and there, but this is pretty much universally accepted all through planet Earth in this modern 20th century, 21st century era. It's a very specific standard. 7 or 8 centimeters by about 5 centimeters or something like that. I'm not sure of the exact dimensions of the card, and it's like about 2 millimeters thick, a millimeter, 2 millimeters thick, probably only about a millimeter really, but sort of plastic sort of stuff that it's made of. That's a magnetic strip. The black strip on the back is a magnetic strip which reads the ATM machine reads your details with that magnetic strip when it's put into the machine. There's some details on the back of this card. Customer service phone number for St. George, which I can tell you, 133330 in Australia. Overseas assistance, so if you're overseas from Australia and you bank with St. George, you can ring +61. The plus is the international dial code number. Then 61, which is the code for Australia. Then 291557800. That's the phone number for overseas dialing. And the website for St. George is stgeorge stgeorge.com.au. So that's the website address for the St. George Bank. And as you can, if you can see out there where it says Visa PayWave, it runs with the PayWave system, which has been introduced in the last few years. They've had PayWave, and it's very convenient. PayWave, just swipe it and off you go. I mean, it can be a little bit concerning if someone's nicked your card, stolen your card. They can just swipe it without having to worry about signature and PIN details. They can just swipe it and claim stuff from the stolen card. So it's a little bit problematic like that, but it's a maximum of $100, so you normally don't have too much to worry about. But you know, it's practically cash because of that PayWave thing to a degree. If you only keep a small amount of money in your account at any time, it's a bit safe. Like if you're spending money on payday, it's not too much of a problem if someone nicks your card because they can't get anything out of your account. But it is a little bit of a liquid asset somewhat. It's a little bit like cash with the PayWave thing there, so just a little bit of caution on that, but it's still far more convenient, and I think it's generally working well, the PayWave system. Visa is a pretty well established credit card company. It's been around for years. Back in the 80s, I remember when I was growing up, Visa, I think I probably knew about Visa back then. But that's St. George Bank. As I said, it runs through Westpac Corporation here in Australia. It's pretty popular on the east side of Australia with St. George. On the west coast in Perth, my brother took us, there's only one bank I think in Perth, St. George Bank, and we went past it once, but it's predominantly on the eastern coast of Australia with St. George Bank. And that's the Visa debit card it's used for financial transactions involving money. The Australian dollar and cents as well is what this particular card transacts with. You can get money out overseas with these cards through Visa. You can get from your own account. So it can be used internationally, but it's primarily for use in Australia, in ATMs in Australia. It doesn't have to just be a St. George or Westpac ATM. With the systems in place in ATM in Australia now, you can use this in most sort of other banks' ATMs. They just charge a little bit of a fee for another bank transaction usually. But you can use it to get money out, get cash out. And I think the minimum amount of cash note you can get out from most ATMs is $20. I don't think they do $10 or $5, but usually it's $20 as a minimum. And of course you can just pay for things using the debit card system. And so that's the debit card system, part of the standard financial transactions which go on all day long in Australian society, very commonly used, extremely commonly used. And this particular St. George one is quite a common one. St. George is very popular now. I think it's probably, if you count it separately to Westbank, it's probably the 5th biggest. Probably, I think. But that's the standard St. George Visa debit card. Thank you.